welcome back. We have letter number 22 in our flower letter series. We are moving right along, guys. I literally just got done with the last letter and I just now got this letter. Super excited. I can't wait to see who this is from. As you guys know, in the previous letters, Charlie has went missing. He's missing in action. And we found out who his dad was. His dad was alive. We got to finally read the letter that his dad sent him all those years ago. It was in his trunk. Finally got to see what that letter was. So if you guys missed that video or you guys want to go back and watch it, I will put a link in the top of the description so you guys can go back and check out that video. So let's open this one up and see who it's from. Okay, so we got a beautiful postcard, and I always love these postcards. They're so beautiful. The back of it. Okay, so we got a attention read first. We got an attention read last, and then we have a letter. So let's see what the read first is. This is going to be a telegram. Okay, so it says the American Grand Union Telegram. This is Washington, D.C., 9 p.m. It comes from Washington. It says, Miss Audrey Roseberg, Washington, D.C. Dear Audrey Rose, Charlie found. I repeat, Colonel Charles Henderson Burke has been found alive. Letter with explanation to follow. General Duke P. Gerlander. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that, guys. Okay. So this must be the letter. So let's open it up and let's read it. It says, Mrs. Audrey Rose Burke, July 12th, 1944. Washington, D.C., USA. Dear Audrey Rose, you might get my letter at the same time or even before you receive my telegram. I couldn't wait for the letter to reach you regardless of how you hear it, my girl. I'm very happy and relieved to inform you that Corporal Charles Henderson Burke of the Army Rangers 2nd Battalion has been found and is alive. Between you and me, Audrey Rose, I didn't mind telling you that he's damn lucky to be so. Of the 225 men who landed at Point du Hoc on the morning of June 6th, 77 of his comrades was killed and 125 was wounded by the time contact was reestablished with them. I'm told he was one of just 90 still standing by the time his company was relieved by reinforcements. Now, he was still standing after Point du Hoc, but I'll warn you, he may be a little worse for wear when you see him again. The injuries are fairly minor compared to what they could have been. He took a piece of shrapnel in his left thigh, as well as a bullet through his right shoulder, but that was from another adventure, and entirely one I'll let him tell you about himself when he can write to you again. In the meantime, rest assured that the doctors and our Ruby expect him to make a full recovery. Not soon enough, however, to do the Army any more good. He'll be honorably discharged and coming home to you sooner than expected, and pretty impressively decorated, I might add, for only having spent a couple of days in the field. In all my years in military man, my Rose, I don't know that I've ever witnessed men facing more important odds than our boys faced on June 6th. I'm certain that I've never seen the likes of what Colonel Roeder and his Rangers faced at Point du Hoc, yet they rose to the occasion, proving they were indeed the best of the best. Charlie's mission was vital to the success of the entire day's mission. There was a hell of a lot of men alive today, not only because of what Charlie and his battalion did collectively, but because of what he did personally. You have every right to be as proud of him as he was of you after Santa Fe. Now, as I know you'll want as many details as I can give you, I've chosen to enclose the letter I received from his commanding officer, Captain Winsall Fairbanks. Once contact was reestablished with the Rangers, there are a few men I know who can give a more thorough account of missions preceding the Fairbanks. I ordered him to send word the moment he heard anything about Charlie's battalion and the whereabouts. I trust you'll find his account accurate, detailed, and perhaps a bit more sentimental than you might expect from such a man. I'd advise you to hold on to his letter for Charlie's sake. Something tells me he will mean an awful lot to him when he's ready to tell it for himself. Rest assured that Charlie's care is in the best of hands. Ruby and I would take turns keeping you abreast of the improvements over the next few months. Until then, I remain your loving and very proud father, General Duke P. Drillinger. And this is what's on the back, guys. So we have a really, really interesting story coming up, apparently. Can't wait to hear what Charlie has to say, and the story behind it. So this is read last. So this might be the letter that he, let's see. So this says General Duke P. Drillinger, June 8th, 1944. It says, Dear Sir, at your request, I'm sending along new intelligence regarding the U.S. Army 2nd Ranger Battalion. We have reestablished contact with their commander, Colonel James Roeder. For the past 48 hours, they have been under constant attack from an ever-growing German force at the cliffs of Point du Hoc. They have sustained steep casualties and at their request are presently being relieved by a fresh squadron. As you're aware, we lost contact with Robert at 0700 on June 6th. We failed to detect any signal from him requesting aid at the prearranged time and therefore presumed the Rangers' mission a failure. Subsequently, the 500 additional Rangers reserved as backup should Rudder succeed were instead sent to Omaha Beach, where, as you know, the situation was dire. We reestablished brief contact with the Rangers during the invasion and learned that Rudder and at least some of his Rangers had survived their climb of the cliffs. However, it wasn't until this morning when one of the Rogers band ran into camp requesting immediate backup that we learned the entire mission had been a success. As you know, Colonel James Rudder was assigned the vital mission of leading 225 Army Rangers across the English Channel to climb the cliffs at Point du Hoc and disassemble 6 of the enemy's 155 mm military guns. While the odds for success were decidedly against them, the mission had to be attempted. Destroying the guns would greatly diminish casualties predicted for both Utah and Omaha Beach. Unfortunately, like most of the missions of June 6th, the Rangers' beginning hours were far from idle. Not only did they experience a 40-minute delay getting to shore, but because of time lost during low tide, they were unable to land their vehicles and unload the mechanical ladders meant to aid them in their climb of the cliffs. Instead, Colonel Roeder and his men were forced to use rocket guns and grappling hooks to secure ropes to the cliffs. Under severe enemy fire, they then attempted to manually pull themselves up the 100-foot cliff. The USS Shutterly and HMS Taliban eventually came to their aid. However, both ships steered towards the shore, blasting the enemy back from the edge long enough for the Rangers to resume their ascent. According to Rudder's message, your son-in-law, Corporal Charles Henderson Burke, was among the first to reach the top and played a vital role in pushing the Germans back while his comrades followed suit. Once at the top, Rudder and his men successfully overpowered the enemies, and Rudder, Sergeant Leonard Lamel, and your son-in-law were among the first to lead the 2nd Battalion onward. The enemy immediately began their retreat, and the Rangers took possession of Point du Hoc. After ascertaining no backup would arrive, Rudder regrouped his Rangers, and they stormed the gun fortifications they were assigned to destroy. They soon realized, however, that the guns they were sent to destroy were telephone poles rather than the cannons intelligence had been informing us of for months. Rudder, to his credit, refused to believe the Germans had fooled the Allies so thoroughly. At his command, Burke and Lamel began scouring the cliff tops for any evidence of the weapons. Lamel soon discovered tracks leading away from the bunker, and Rudder and Burke followed. The remaining Rangers held ground at Point du Hoc. The tracks led to an orchard where the artillery guns were being hidden. The guns were pointed directly at Utah Beach. As you know, Lieutenant Coates' men and equipment were pouring onto shore far too rapidly. At approximately the same time, General Teddy Roosevelt Jr. and his men were facing a quagmire on Utah. Rudder suspected a trap. After carefully searching the orchard, however, Colonial Burke convinced Rhoda that they had time to act and save hundreds of Dakota's men by destroying the guns before they could be turned onto Utah Beach. He, Rudder, and Lommel were then proceeded to destroy the guns using termite grenades. They soon returned to the cliffs, only to stumble across a German ammunition dump. They and their fellow rangers promptly destroyed it. All the above occurred before the enemy could reassemble their forces for a counterattack. The Germans received information in the afternoon following, and the Rangers soon found themselves surrounded with their backs to the cliff's edge. According to Rudder's message, they have courageously held their ground during 5 ever-growing onslaughts of German counterattacks since June 6th. As I finish this report, we have just received word that the Rangers continue to maintain positions of Point du Hoc until our reinforcements relieve them. Rudder will be leading the 2nd Ranger Battalion back to camp by nightfall. Due to your connection with him, I feel it is my duty and privilege to inform you that, according to all accounts, Corporal Charles Hinchelberg remains alive and uninjured. He fought bravely and demonstrated excellent courage and leadership during extreme difficulty. On the personal note, I hope you will allow me the liberty of expressing my own high regard for your son-in-law. I knew his father in the Great War. Agent Hank Burke was the bravest man of my acquaintance. When I first met his son during Ranger training, I knew immediately that he was of the same caliber. He is a first-rate soldier and greatly respected comrade. Indeed, and my wife and I have been blessed with children. Corporal Burke is the sort of son I'd have felt very proud to call my own. Respectfully, Captain Winslow Fairbanks. Well, that's so nice of him. I was like, he's finally melting a little bit. That big chunk of ice around his heart is finally melting. Okay, so we did hear Fairbanks' account of everything, but we have not heard from Charlie. I do know that Audrey's father did say that Charlie had a story to tell us as well. So I can't wait to hear that. I hope that letter is coming up soon. I really do hope you guys are enjoying this letter. We are getting ready to wrap this letter up, and we are going to start a fresh letter, hopefully in January. I do hope you guys stay tuned for that. So if you guys have any questions about this letter or anything you guys want to know, just let me know. Leave it in the comments. If you guys have any suggestions or ideas about the next letter, just let me know. Leave it in the comments. I do hope you guys are enjoying this once again, and I will definitely see you guys back here in my next letter. Bye.